y'all, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something different. Kentucky is getting ready to get an ice storm, so I'm preparing all the tanks, and I figured that I would do a video on how to be prepared for any kind of weather issue that may arise, and if your power goes out, what are you supposed to do with all these aquariums? So that's kind of what today's video is about. About 10 years ago, we had a huge ice storm hit the state, and it was absolutely devastating. Tons of accidents. Interstate 75 was shut down at the Kentucky line. Nobody could come in or out of the state. Power lines were down. It does not take very much ice at all to weigh down power lines, and they just snap. And that's what happened. And we were living in a different house at that time, my childhood home, and it was rough because we had central heating and air, but when the electric goes out, that obviously doesn't work. So we were heating with kerosene heaters, and that's very, very dangerous, but that's all we had, and it was like 0 outside, so it was freezing. During that time, I also had Johnny. He was probably 9 around that time, and he was he had to live through that as well, and he did fine. I had no trouble with him whatsoever. Even though the filter was not running, I just kind of withheld food from him, and he did good. We were without electricity for 7 days, and that was the longest 7 days of my life. There was nothing we could do. We had no hot water. We had no stove, no heat, no nothing, and it sucked. I don't think this storm is going to be like that, but they're saying it could get messy very, very fast, so I'm preparing for that now. When it comes to these fish, I have way more than, just Johnny, so I had to take that in mind, and consider that when I was told about this weather issue. For the past 2 weeks, Kentucky has had really weird weather. At one point, we were under severe thunderstorm warnings. The next time, we were under winter weather advisory for snow. The next time, we were under flooding, flood watches and flood warnings, and we actually did get flooded. Now, for the past week or so, it has been staying at 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and this morning, it was -15. That's 15 degrees below 0, and that is insane, and it is cold. Today is Friday, and we're supposed to get the system, I believe, Sunday through Monday. So if you know my schedule, then you should know that on Wednesday, my butterfly aquarium and the 40-gallon breeder, they both get their water changes. Thursday to Friday is usually the betta fish. Saturday is generally the ranchu now, and Sunday is the tank behind me. So because of that, you never know with Kentucky weather. It may come Sunday night, it may come Sunday morning, it can come tomorrow for all they know. It is insane. So I wanted to go ahead and get the tanks ready, because if there is no electricity, I'm not going to be able to do water changes because there won't be any hot water, and the water will literally be ice cold, and I'm not doing that. So I want to get all that done today, because I do not want them to be stuck in dirty water if that were to occur, because my filters will not run. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. I have both of the betta fish to clean their tanks today, and I also have to do the ranchu 50-gallon bow tank, and I have to do the 60-gallon tank behind me. So those have to get done today, and that's when I'm getting ready to start. When I come back, I will talk about what else I will be doing to help the fish get through this without any electricity and so on. So let's get started. 3 hours and I'm done. So now that the water changes are done, I will feel a lot better if electricity were to go out. So if that does happen, what essentially will occur is my air pumps and my filters and my lights will not work. Now in the goldfish tanks, I don't run heaters, and that is because goldfish can tolerate a wide range of temperatures and there's just no need for a heater. So if the electricity were to go out, we would not have our central heating and air system. So thankfully in this house we have backup. We have a huge fireplace in the living room that runs off of gas, and it will heat the whole house. So there shouldn't be too much of a difference when it comes to the aquariums in their temperature. If you don't have that option and it happens to you, I wouldn't be too concerned, because the temperature will not change drastically in just a few minutes. It will occur over a period of time and they will adjust to that. The second thing that I will do is I will withhold feeding them. They usually get fed twice a day. However, if electric were to go out, I may feed them once a day or maybe every other day. That really just depends on, you know, how they are doing. If the temperature has changed a lot, then I probably won't feed at all. But I have to be careful because of the filters. You know, they're going to be excreting waste and, you know, breathing essentially, and there's going to be ammonia that's produced, and if the filters aren't running, that's going to really cut down on my nitrifying bacteria. So I have to be very, very careful in order to prevent ammonia spikes and so on. Another thing that I will do is I have battery operated air pumps available to me, and I have backup batteries. If it comes down to that, I can cut those on and get those running in the aquariums, no problem, and they will have oxygenation and they will be agitation to the surface and whatnot, and they will be fine in that aspect. I could essentially hook up a sponge filter to them. I don't want to do that. It wouldn't really help me a lot because the sponge filters I have are for quarantine, and I've used them with, you know, dropsy and so on, and I would not be introducing that into my aquariums. So I also, you know, the area that I'm in, I don't have sponge filters available, and they're not gonna really help me a lot because they would be brand new and they wouldn't have any bacteria on them to really do any good. So I'd be more prone to having just the oxygen in general than a sponge filter. That's just not available to me right now. With the goldfish, I'm not very concerned. If that were to happen, they will be fine. I don't think anything would happen with them. The betta fish, I know somebody's going to ask me about the betta fish. They do have heaters, and you know, the heater obviously wouldn't work. I wouldn't put oxygen. I wouldn't put any air pumps in there because they would not like the agitation. They like still water. So I wouldn't add that. They can come to the surface and get air if they need to. And as far as the heater goes, with the fireplace running, it will circulate throughout the house because we'll have the vents open. And that should take care of that issue. It would only, I mean, they might drop a few degrees, but it shouldn't be anything that would hurt the fish or you know, become an issue over time. Hopefully, if we do lose, you know, if we do lose electricity, hopefully it's not for very long. I get very antsy when the electric goes out. It has happened before here, but I mean only for like, I think the longest it had been out since I've had all these fish was maybe like 2 hours, and I was a nervous wreck. I was very panicky, but since then I have, you know, calm down, and I think they'll be okay. I don't think it's going to be anything drastic, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure. This was, you know, definitely not the video that I had planned on doing today. I actually was going to be doing a video on sexing goldfish, but that didn't happen. So that'll happen next week, I guess, when I can get that filmed, but not today. So that's kind of what's going on right now. The only tank that has not got a water change yet is the Tetra tank, and they will get that tomorrow morning. I will make sure that they're good as well. They don't have heaters. They're not used to having heaters. All of the tanks, except the betta fish, sit at about 72 degrees, and they've been fine with that. So I don't expect there to be an issue with them either. So that's what's going on, and hopefully this storm is not as bad as they think it's going to be, and hopefully, you know, I don't lose electricity. Hopefully it, you know, doesn't do as bad as they think, and but we'll see. So wish me luck, and I will give y'all updates on my Instagram if we were to lose electricity and so on. I will let you know, and I'll give you updates on the fish if that were to happen. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all next time.